Hello, this is Ulysses Maclaren from SSW TV. I'm here at the Sydney Digital Workplace Conference and I'm interviewing Lee Stevens from Brighter Days. So Lee, can you tell me, you just did a talk about digital strategy. Digital obviously is just a word that's everywhere, it's almost like ubiquitous. So what is a digital strategy and why do you need one?
So for me, why you need a digital strategy is often we talk about these things called information islands. So people go and procure technology. So HR will buy a HR software, marketing will build an intranet, IT might do something completely. So the first thing that I suppose you would do is it unifies systems. For me, the main reason you would want to do one is to enable your company goals and your company strategy. So people often don't see that. They say, oh, we spend a lot of money with some of the big top 4 consultancies, but then they don't actually put the systems in place to enable that strategy. So having a digital strategy will enable that.
Right, okay. And is this for really large organisations or small organisations need to worry about this as well?
I mean, essentially the 5-step framework we've put together can be applied for any business, but we tend to find the mid to larger organisations are the ones that kind of get the most benefit from it, and typically they've got the budget to be able to do it in the first place.
Yeah, right. So what sort of employee count?
So in New Zealand, we're probably talking 200 to 20,000. So,
right, okay.
But obviously the numbers in New Zealand are a little bit different to Australia. But
Sure.
yeah, 200 to 20,000 is a good range.
Okay, all right. So you talked in your talk about a 5-step process to getting this all together and getting it happening. So can you tell me a bit about that? Yeah,
sure. So the 5 steps approach is really just a painted by numbers approach to doing a digital strategy, and the idea is you can replicate it for any business. So the first step is really understanding your organisational goals and strategy. So where is the business going? Where does it want to be in 2-3 years' time? The second piece is understanding the personas and the audiences that you interact with. The third piece is looking at your systems, what you've got, what you need. And the fourth piece is then putting a plan together. And then once you've kind of got all of that, it's then execution. So that's step 5.
All right. And where do you spend most of the time?
Good question. Often a lot of businesses have done step 1 and step 2, so they know who their personas are, they know where they're going. Often we can kind of just assess what's already there. So for me, the systems review is the piece where we often want to spend the most amount of time to get the most value.
The systems review, all right. So going back to that 5 steps, the first step there was working out your organisational goals.
Yep.
Is that always easy? Is that just straightforward? Or?
No, it's not. And we get caught out quite a bit because when we go into organisations, they say, oh, you're just like KPMG or Deloitte, and we don't want to be like KPMG and Deloitte. All we want to understand is what the strategy is, say where the business is going. And if you haven't got that, then it probably makes sense to go and, and you're a big company, it probably makes sense to go and do that with one of the top 4 or one of the bigger consultants that do that. But for us, it's really just making sure we understand it to know what systems you might need and what they could enable effectively.
Right, okay. And what are the common problems, like the main issues you normally find when you talk to companies? Where are they most mismatched?
Yeah, so actually often it's the organisational goals. So they're quite they're not really well defined, so they're a bit sketchy. And as I mentioned in my talk, more often than not, people actually don't know what they are within the organisation. It's the management team might know it, but the rest of the organisation doesn't. But personas is another one as well. So you'll find that marketing do their personas, IT might do their personas for a particular project, operations might do it. And so there's no uniform set of personas that the business can create. So that's what we kind of strive for, is to get one set of personas that profiles your customers, your staff and your suppliers.
Yeah, right, okay. And how much do you push for systems to be integrated now? You mentioned Zapier as one option. Is that something that should just be all the way across the organisation now, or is it just situational still?
No, I mean it depends. Zapier is probably lower end. For larger businesses and for where there's big heavy systems, looking at things like MuleSoft or BizTalk as a messaging tool was probably what we would advise. But it really depends. But I suppose the concepts are the same regardless whether it's a small or big company. You just want to be able to connect different systems to achieve the goals that you've set out already.
So how about artificial intelligence? Where does that fit into this picture?
So for me, AI is maybe one of the tools that you would look at. So when we've done the customer profiling, we've looked at the systems you've got, and actually we know where you want to go as a business. As I say, AI is just one of those many tools that we could use alongside Office 365, alongside custom applications. It's just a tool that you may use to work with.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much, appreciate it. This is Ulysses from SSW TV signing out.